welcome to the May 9th, 2017 edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. I had an early morning speaking engagement today, and on my way, I turned on the radio, and I turned on my iPhone and listened through the sound speakers, and it just happened to start playing one of my favorite songs, which is from the Broadway musical Aspects of Love by Andrew Lloyd Webber. Some of you may be familiar with that. That is the musical that came in the aftermath of the popularity of Phantom of the Opera. And the big song from Aspects of Love is the beautiful song, Love Changes Everything. And I was listening to the lyrics. I haven't heard it in a while, and so I was paying special attention to the lyrics as beautifully sung by a member of the original cast, Michael Ball. And he's singing these words, and it's, love changes everything, hands and faces, earth and sky. Love changes everything, how you live and how you die. Love can turn your world around, and that world can last forever. And it goes on and on how it changes the way you perceive time and the way you perceive what's important. And I was thinking about it. You could interject God instead of love, and it would be equally true. Of course, that makes sense because God is love. But when you have God in your life, it changes everything. It changes your mindset, your priorities, your focus. It changes the way you view things. One of the most impactful statements I've ever read was by the great Christian apologist C.S. Lewis. And I believe it was in his book, Mere Christianity, where he said that, when you have a spiritual perspective, when you understand what this life is all about, there are no throwaway moments. There are absolutely no moments that don't matter. They're all precious, and they all can be learning experiences. They're trials, they're rewards, they're joys. There's something important about every moment. And you live in a mindset where you understand that. C.S. Lewis specifically referred to the people that you meet. And he said that, there are no throwaway people either, because even if you only meet someone just briefly and you have the briefest encounter with them, you are dealing with an eternal being. Someone who, and these are the words of C.S. Lewis, who either, if you could see them as they ultimately will be one day, would be either so glorious that you would be tempted to bow down and worship before them, or so horrible that you would be either grieved or horrified. One of the two. That's really what eternity is about. Eternity crystallizes what you really are. It crystallizes forever what you have chosen to be. Are you choosing to be made into the likeness of God Himself, Christ Himself, or are you choosing to remain in your fallen state, which is just going to get worse and worse? It's going to crystallize. People often say that money is like a magnifying glass. It takes whatever you are and it magnifies you. Well, eternity does the same thing. And so God changes everything about you. The way you feel, the way you think, the way you interact with people, or at least it should. And for those of us who claim to know God, maybe we should ask ourselves that question. Has our knowledge of and relationship with God, has it changed everything about us? Is it currently changing everything about us? Because it should be. My dad, who many of you know is a Bible scholar, always says that we are supposed to be changing into the likeness of Christ Himself. So we should ask ourselves every day, how have I become more like Christ today? Am I growing and changing into His likeness? If so, how so? If not, why not? Love changes everything. God, as love, changes everything. I'll tell you, I give you a little homework. Go on to Google, iTunes, YouTube, whatever you need to, and listen to this beautiful song, Love Changes Everything. Try to get the Michael Ball version, but That's just because I think he's great. But listen to the lyrics and ask yourself, have I allowed the love of God to change everything about me? I'm J. Lenora Bressler. Visit me tomorrow on the next edition of The Bible, Delight in the Details. Have a great day.